The night she appeared, the sky bled red over the ruins of the last human city. I was barefoot on the rooftop of a dead hospital, the wind slicing my skin like glass, puddles glowing crimson with radioactive drizzle. And then she was there, naked, wrapped in nothing but the rising heat of a broken world. Her eyes glowed with centuries, and when they found mine, I forgot how to breathe.
Because she remembered me.
Again. It was the 18th time she'd found me in dying worlds, across timelines shattered like mirrors dropped from a god's hand. And just like every time before, I didn't remember her. I never did. She stepped through the flickering haze as calmly as if she were walking through a memory. Maybe she was. Her voice, when it came, cracked open the night.
Sorry.
That name. My name. But it wasn't the one this version of me used. Still, it cut through the static in my head like lightning through fog. The way she said it, like a prayer, a curse, like someone who hadn't survived the last time she loved, ripped something ancient and buried from inside me. I should have run. Instead, I stood there trembling, drawn to her the way fire is drawn to oxygen. She held out her hand. In her palm was a rusted key, suspended from a single strand of silver hair. "You always ask me to make you forget," she whispered, voice thick with lifetimes. "And still, I find you." I took the key. The moment my fingers closed around it, the world flipped. Vertigo swallowed me whole. I saw flashes, a temple sinking into the sea, her lips stained with my blood, my own voice screaming her name in languages I'd never spoken. Reality buckled. Then we were somewhere else. Not the rooftop. Not the city. A place built from memory and ruin, a cathedral made of glass, floating in the void. She didn't seem surprised. Her skin shimmered, tattooed with runes that shifted as I watched, like living constellations. "Every time you die," she said softly, "you tell me not to look for you again. Every time, I disobey." "Why?" I asked, my voice hoarse, unfamiliar in my own mouth. "Because I remember what you forget," she said. "And because I'd rather break the universe than live without you." The glass beneath our feet cracked, and something woke up inside me. The crack in the cathedral's floor bloomed like frost across glass, radiating outward with a soundless scream. I staggered back, clutching the key, heart pounding like a warning drum from some forgotten battlefield. She didn't flinch. She watched me with those impossible eyes, violet like bruises, like galaxies in collapse, and I hated that I wanted to fall into them. "What is this place?" I asked. My voice echoed in the glass like a child's question shouted into a canyon. She stepped closer. "A memory," she said. "Or a grave. Depends on what you choose." The walls shimmered. For a breath, I saw flickers, versions of myself wearing different clothes, different scars, dying in different ways. In one, I was crowned with flame. In another, I bled out in her arms, smiling. "This isn't real," I whispered, more to myself than to her. She tilted her head. "It's real enough. You built it. Every time you forget, this place waits. Like a door you won't stop locking." The key burned colder in my hand. "Why can't I remember?" I asked. She looked away then, and her voice turned brittle. "Because you loved me too much. And in one life, that love destroyed a world." That world was coming back to me now in fragments, an empire made of light, a vow whispered at the end of time, her hand slipping from mine as the stars went dark. "Who are you?" I asked, aching with the need to know. She smiled. Not sadly. Just endlessly. "Your punishment. Your promise. Your wife." I stepped back, dizzy. "No. I don't remember marrying anyone." She didn't move. "You were always afraid to let yourself have something permanent. You thought if you burned it all, no one could take it from you." I felt the wind shift in the cathedral. Time here was unstable. It bent with our emotions, warped under the weight of truth. The glass above us began to fracture. "I don't even know your name," I said. She stepped closer. "You gave it to me once. In the first life. When we were both gods and hadn't yet fallen." Her hand reached out again, palm up, Waiting, not demanding, never demanding. Do you want to remember, Soria? Truly remember? Because if you do, there's no turning back. And there it was, the question at the center of every life I'd lived. Did I want her again? Even if it meant shattering everything? I looked at the key. I looked at her. And I said, "Tell me everything." She smiled then, radiant, aching, triumphant. The cathedral exploded into stars. When the cathedral shattered, we didn't fall. We drifted, weightless, through a current of memory made visible. Stars surged past us like birds set loose from cages, each one carrying a scene from a life I'd once lived. A market square drenched in summer light, her laughter echoing against marble. A battlefield under twin moons, her blood on my hands, a planet of glass and ice where we danced alone for 1,000 years. The memories pressed against my skin, desperate to be remembered. But it wasn't until she touched my temple that one truly broke through. A garden, ancient,
Wild.
roots tangled like serpents around the bones of a forgotten world. We sat beneath a dying sun, her head resting on my shoulder. My body was different, taller, armored, crowned in silver. Her fingers traced sigils into my skin. "This world will end soon," she whispered. "We should leave before it takes us with it." But whoever I was then, shook my head. "Let it burn. We were gods here, once. Let us be the last thing it sees." Her eyes met mine with something more than devotion. Devastation. "You always want to end things before they can end you." The vision broke like a wave, and we were floating in silence again. "I didn't know I was a god," I murmured. She didn't laugh. "You weren't, not really. You just thought you were." We both did. Another memory caught me, an underwater city carved from coral and crystal. We stood before a council of beings with molten eyes. I was pleading, bargaining, promising to erase something. Her name, our history, myself. "You chose to forget," she said beside me, watching my face as the scenes turned. "Not once. Many times. You thought forgetting was safer. For you.
For me.
For the multiverse." Her hand brushed mine, and it was a touch too soft for the enormity of her grief. But I kept remembering, no matter what you did. The current of memory grew stronger.
Faster.
A hurricane of lives I'd buried. 1,000 kisses. 1,000 deaths. And in all of them she was there. Watching me. Holding me. Dying for me. I wanted to scream, to tell the cosmos it was unfair, to ask why I'd been cursed to forget the only person who'd ever remembered me whole. Instead, I asked, "What's your name now?" She smiled with that ancient ache. "Does it matter? You always rename me." But then, after a moment, she said, "In this life, I'm called Alaris." Alaris. It slid into place inside me like a blade returning to its sheath. We landed. Not on Earth. Not on any planet I knew. A moon, perhaps, suspended in an ocean of stars, covered in flowers that bloomed only in shadow. The key still hung from my hand. Alaris knelt before me, eyes filled with the same stubborn light I now realized I'd fallen for again and again. "This is where it ends," she said. "Or begins. You have the key. If you turn it, all your memories come back. All of them. You'll be whole. And you'll remember why you made me promise never to bring you here again." Her voice cracked. "But maybe this time, you'll break your own rule." She stood, waiting, not forcing. I stared at the key, at the moonlit garden around us, at the woman who had followed me across time with nothing but her love. And I asked, "If I remember, will you still love me, even if I was cruel?" She stepped forward, took my hand, and whispered, "I have loved every version of you, even the ones that broke me." And with that, I turned the key. The moment the key turned, the universe folded inward. Not collapsed, no, it bloomed. My mind split open like a cracked seed, and memories spilled out in torrents of color, sound, touch. Every lifetime, every version of me. I remembered the first time I saw her, in a city made of bone, where gods were young and love was a rebellion. I remembered the wars I waged to protect her and the atrocities I committed in the name of that protection. I remembered the quiet lives, too. The ones where we grew old in a cabin by a stormlit sea, where we sold books in rainy cities, where she painted and I wrote poems only she would ever read. But more than anything, I remembered the choice. The one life that defined them all, a universe on the edge of collapse, a prophecy that foretold a love so powerful it would unravel creation. We were warned. We were begged to part.
And we refused.
I stood before a tribunal of starborn judges and chose to stay with her, knowing it would cost everything. Knowing I would have to scatter myself across time to protect her. I made her swear to find me in every life. I made myself forget so that the pain would not destroy me. It was never a curse. It was a vow. And she kept it. Alaris stood watching as the memories poured through me, her expression unreadable. I fell to my knees, breathless, and whispered, "I remember." She didn't move. Not yet. All of it. Every life. Every kiss. Every time I died in your arms. My voice broke. And every time I begged you to find me again. Her eyes shimmered. "Then you remember the end of our first life." I nodded. "You begged me to let you die with the universe. I refused. I scattered you instead." Her voice was trembling now, too. "And I've been finding the pieces ever since." I stood. Not as I had been, but whole. The versions of me, the goddess, the soldier, the librarian, the assassin, the girl in the hospital, stood behind my eyes now, all one, all alive. I crossed the garden to her. "You've loved me in every form. Even when I didn't deserve it." Her smile was pure sunlight. "You always deserved it. You just couldn't believe it." I took her hands. "This is our last life, isn't it?" She nodded. "There's nothing after this. No more worlds. No more veils to hide behind." My heart ached with the weight of 1,000 endings, but also, finally, with peace. Then let's make it count. We stayed in that garden for years. Or maybe hours. Time no longer obeyed us. We built a home from memory and starlight, filled with pieces of every place we had ever loved each other. We planted trees from dying planets. She painted our walls with pigments pulled from forgotten galaxies. I wrote her name across every surface. And at night, we told each other the stories of